guys, welcome to our video. So we are going to show you guys what is in the first law of motion. So let's start. Did you know that first law of motion explains, and to understand it properly, an object at rest stays at rest, and an object in motion stays in motion with the same speed in the same direction unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. In the first part of our activity, we will be using a ball and a box. I will put the ball in the end of the table, and the box, I will put it in the other end of the table.
As what we have observed, we noticed that the ball had gone to a halt and had changed direction, crashing into the box. Imagine that this ball is an object from outer space that you are pushing. This ball will continue to move in a direction you are pushing unless an outside force comes along to stop it. The power that halted here, changed direction here, came from the box, and what we have performed is an object in motion will continue moving unless an external force acts upon it, as stated in Sir Isaac Newton's first law of motion.
For this example, first place a piece of paper in a book. Now place the piece of paper in the table. After that, place the book at the top of the paper. Now I'm gonna pull out the paper. As you can see, this book moved because it has not enough mass and not enough inertia to resist the force acting upon it.
Hello and good afternoon. For today, we're going to make a science experiment from this book and paper by pulling this paper under the book.
Sir Isaac Newton was a great scientist whose first three laws of motion we are going to learn today. Newton's first law of motion is an object at rest will remain at rest, and an object in motion will remain in a constant velocity unless acted upon a net external force. This law consists of two parts. Either if a body is at rest, will remain at rest until it's acted upon by an external force. There are clearly two cases. An object is either at rest or in motion.
Take my book or notebook, for example, is laying on the table, and it will not move unless some external force acts upon it. If a body or an object is in uniform motion along a straight line, it will continue in that state until it is acted with by an external force, says the other portion of the law. Any change in their condition of rest or uniform motion in a straight line is resisted by all material objects. As a result, we can assume that a body will be in an inertial frame if no external force is acting upon. Inertia, in other terms, is an object tendency to resist change in its condition of rest or uniform motion in a straight line. As a result, the first law of motion is also known as the law of inertia.
Ramil and Anwario started to unload their things. Anwario tried to carry the first box full of books, but she's having a hard time. So, she came up with an idea. She lessened the mass of the box by pulling out 3 books. Anwario continues to carry the box to put inside the house. After Taparan carried the 2 boxes, Castro also brought 2 boxes and she put it in the cart. And because the boxes are less mass, the acceleration of Castro pushing the cart is more. While Ramil was following Januario inside the house, he is pulling the suitcase with him into the house while carrying a box in his hand. Their friends help them out. Maki, the friend of Ramil, pushes the box full of some gym equipment into the cart, and because it is heavy, the acceleration of Maki is less. He pushed the cart into the house with less acceleration. Taparan, also a friend of Ramil, carries 2 boxes in his hand. Both boxes are full of clothes, that is why it is easy for him to bring them. Januario came back to carry a box. Again, she's bringing a cart with her. Because she brought a cart, she put 3 boxes on it. After putting the box into the cart, she positioned the cart in the direction where the house was, and she started pushing it. Januario has less acceleration in pushing the box. Januario's acceleration is slow because of the mass of the boxes. While Ramil carries 2 boxes in his hand, Ramil's acceleration is like Januario. It is slow because the box has more mass. Maki only carry 1 box in his hand. His acceleration is more. It is because of the less mass of the box. While Taparan carries 2 boxes in his hand, obviously his acceleration is less. It is because the box has more mass. Castro has 1 box in her cart. It is the last box full of things of Januario and Ramil. She pushes the cart with more acceleration. It is because she has 1 box only. Her mass is less. After they load the things of Januario and Ramil, they rest and have a drink to celebrate the moving in of 2 in their dream house.
Newton's third law, explaining every action as an opposite reaction. Everything in our surroundings has been following this law. One fine sunny day, all actors and an actress will do their daily routine in their everyday life. Turco woke up in the morning and got out of bed and started to make his daily routine in his house. Turco somehow noticed that there were books and papers on top of the table and decided to carry it and put it on the shelf, and thought to himself while reading on his computer about the third law of motion. He recognized that everything in his surroundings are committed to this law, including myself. He was amazed how it works and how it helps every time he cleans his house. After Turco is Abdurasid and his daily life together with the third law of motion. From the dribble where the exact same force was applied, then a sudden change of force of the ball hitting the ground, and when shooting it on the backboard of the net, Abdurasid was tired of playing and bought a glass of water and sat on a chair. He looked around and said,
It's really hot because maybe I played basketball for an hour. Another example of this is the next actress of what she does and how third law of motion applies to her. People have committed actions with reactions. Try thinking or observing at each actions that these people have used or applied force to an object.
Seeing these people, each scene has the third law of motion. These are the third law of motion by Isaac Newton. With every action has its own reaction. Another example in scene 2. Every dribble and the ball hits the ground with force. The force in the ball is paired with the same force in the ground to the ball. This second force acts in the opposite direction, which is upward. In scene 1, when he cooks, the action force is when you're mixing using the spatula, and the reaction force when the pan is pushing against the spatula. Number 3. The gatan sitting on the chairs. The force of the gravity is pulling her down against the chair. The chair also balance both ground and the gatan with the equal force both sides of them, pushing the ground downwards while pushing the gatan upwards. These are the law